Over Depression. I am your host, Tamera Trotter. This podcast is dedicated to all those individuals who suffer with a mental illness, which is often called the silent disease. It's called the silent disease because there is so much stigma behind mental health. It is truly amazing because if you had heart disease or a thyroid condition or diabetes, you would take medication, seek the treatment, and everything would be fine. But when someone suffers with a mental illness and they have to take medication or seek treatment, there are people who feel that that person is weak, and it just doesn't make sense. Did you know that over 800,000 people commit suicide every single year? That means that every 50 seconds, someone is taking their life. We need to shine a light on mental illness so that people know that mental illness is sometimes due to a chemical imbalance in the brain. It could also be hereditary, and we all will suffer with some type of event that causes us to feel down and feel depressed. Did you also know that during this pandemic, millions of people are suffering from depression and seeking treatment for mental health for the first time? So if you're out there and you have not sought treatment for your mental health, I encourage you to do so. There is nothing wrong with you. There's certainly nothing wrong with me, my friend, and you deserve to feel better and get on the other side so that you can heal too and feel better. This episode will encourage you and give you tools that you can use quickly and very effectively to start living better. Stay tuned for another episode of Win Over Depression. Today, we'll be talking about inspiration and desperation. Most people make change in their life because they are either inspired to change or they are desperate to change. I want you to think a moment and consider whether or not you need to make a change, and if it's because you are inspired or you are desperate. When you suffer with a mental illness, sometimes all you can do is sigh because you feel defeated. And you sometimes also feel rejected on many sides. I know that this feeling is very difficult and you feel overwhelmed. But what is most important is how you deal with the feelings that you have, because we cannot make a mountain out of a molehill. We have to decide which situations and circumstances are worth fighting and which ones we need to just let go, because we have too much to lose, those of us who suffer with a mental illness, because our response is much different than others. And so again, we must guard our heart and be proactive in fighting what we know to be true is that we have issues in our lives and circumstances that are different, and we have to respond in such a way that it does not cause us to go down a dark path toward an episode of depression. We have to be very intentional about whether or not we're going to act in a certain situation. So let's talk for a moment about inspiration and desperation. As I said earlier, individuals make change because of inspiration or desperation. They are inspired to achieve a goal or desperate to survive their circumstances. So where are you, my friend? Are you desperate to change or are you inspired to change? Sometimes we feel desperate and feel as though we cannot hang on much longer. But if you employ the tools in your arsenal and cope under extreme, unfathomable circumstances, even though you grow weary in well-doing, you still have the ability to maximize the fight, even though it's nearing its threshold. So when you are desperate to change, that is the time when you must act quickly, because you are finding out that if you don't act quickly, then something may happen to you or to your loved ones. So I encourage you, don't be desperate to change. Just get out there and do what it is you need to do. Something that you have probably been waiting to do for a long period of time, but either did not have the confidence or the stamina to take action. When we are desperate and our backs are against the wall, we have to step up to the plate and do what needs to be done. So, what will you do in this situation? What is the first step on your plan of action? Will you do something today to handle what needs to be taken care of? Or do you need 3 days? So write down, what will you do in the next 3 days to handle more effectively a very desperate situation? And especially when we're desperate, we tend to decide that we're not going to take action. I want to push you, my friend, to go ahead and do whatever it is that you are afraid to do. See, sometimes we want to make change, but we don't know what's going to happen later on. But if you take the first step, the rest of it will be revealed to you eventually. When you start out, you do not have to know what the final step will be, because sometimes the final step is not revealed to you because maybe you can't handle the final step. Maybe you don't see the final step as being possible, and therefore you don't want to take the first step. But I tell you this, my friend, if you take the first step and the second and third step, before you know it, you are across the football field, you have scored a touchdown, and you now feel confident enough and you have enough stamina in your heart of hearts to take that next step that's going to get you to the outcome that you are looking for. You see, fear is what keeps people from making decisions and choices in their life. But we become complacent and we feel as though things are pretty good, so why should I rock the boat? If I rock the boat, it might tip over. However, if you don't rock the boat, you will never know whether or not it would be steady and balanced and able to weather the storm. I encourage you to rock the boat to get to the other side. If you are inspired to make change, then it comes easier to you because you have this feeling, this energy, this stamina, this resolve that's telling you, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move outside of my comfort zone. I'm going to bet on myself. I am going to move away from the naysayers who say that I can't accomplish it, I can't do it, and I am going to take a leap of faith. There are so many people that I know that once they took that leap of faith, their life is different, their family circumstances are different, their stress level has gone down, they see the light at the end of the tunnel, they have actually gone through the tunnel, and they are on the other side. They are making more money, they're more profitable, and they have less stress. But what it took was determination and the willingness to say, I am somebody. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and I'm enough, and I am going to decide that I deserve what is coming to me in my life. I deserve to be further along than my job or people have put me. And I am going to make the decision today that what I want in my life is more important than anything else. And again, if you have a higher power that you believe in, and I do, and I always talk about it, you can have the favor of God. And once you exploit God's favor, you will be so amazed at how things turn around. So if you have a higher faith, whatever that might be to you, lean on that and make the decision today to do something differently, because you have the natural solution to your situation, because you know what you're up against. No one is in your shoes and is living your life. So you're the one who has to decide that you're going to bank and bet on yourself. Here's the thing. You have come too far to turn back now. Someone is waiting to know how you made it. The light at the end of the tunnel is peeking around the next corner. There is no way that you can give in to any negativity, because you are on the path to freedom. Enjoy it. Did you know that just when the tides are about to turn, the winds are about to subside, and the impossible will become possible, you will get a burst of energy, a little more wherewithal, and hear a voice that clearly says, push through. This is about you pushing through your circumstances, pushing through the pain, pushing through to get to the next day. Think about a sigh of relief that will help you get past the storm and allow you to thrive and to live and to fight another day, another week, another month, another year. Your life is valuable and it is worth living. You must stay in the game of life, because you deserve to be successful. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have people in your corner who are your cheerleaders, and you deserve to live this life out to its fullest, because we only get one life to live. So whether you are inspired or desperate, you can take action. So what will you do in order to take action in your life? It's up to you. The ball is in your corner. I want you to go hard in the paint and take that ball to the hoop. Because when you score that goal, you have to remember that your greatest testimony comes from your deepest pain, and you will be able to inspire others by telling them your story, how you made it over, how you were so close to giving up, but you did not give up, how you could not imagine all that was waiting for you on the other side. And all you had to do was decide to take one step in a different direction, one step outside of your comfort zone, one step toward a new life and a new beginning. Even though you may feel that life has been dark, uncertain, and everything has been against you, all of the odds have been stacked in what you believe has not been in your direction. But it is never too late to turn things around. So if you are listening to this podcast and you feel as though the time is over for you and that there's no way that you can survive, there's no way that you can pull yourself out, I am here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. It is never too late to start living your life. So whatever encouragement you might need, go to your accountability partner and tell them that you are ready to take the next step, and ask them to help you put a plan of action together so that between you and your accountability coach or partner, you can see that when you put two minds together and you have someone encouraging you, that it makes all the difference in the world. Don't give up shy of getting to your breakthrough. Don't give up shy, because when you do that, the next day may have been just what you were looking for. So that's why you have to push yourself to be able to see that next day. And when you do, you will be so satisfied with your choices. So I encourage you once again, don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do it. I believe in you. You are someone special. And when you were made, the mold was broken. And you stand in a class by yourself. There is no one like you. There is no one who thinks the way you do, feels the way you do, and there is no one who can accomplish what you have been meant to accomplish in your life. It is a plan that was specifically designed for you, and only you can fulfill that assignment. That assignment has been given to you, and it needs to be fulfilled. So even if you don't want to complete the assignment for yourself, you can complete it for someone else that you love. Because sometimes when we're feeling down and we're feeling suicidal and we don't want to live for ourselves, it is okay to live for someone else until you can feel as though living for you is really the most important thing, to live for yourself. But if you don't feel that right now, stay in the game of life and stay on this side of heaven for someone else. I want to tell you a story that really made me think deeply about how life works. And the story is about a man who wanted to do so many things in his life, but he didn't have enough courage or enough faith. And so he never set out to accomplish anything that he really wanted. And so when he passed away and he ended up going to heaven, an angel showed him a room full of file cabinets. And in these file cabinets on the outside was a particular name. So he saw that there were many names on file cabinets of people that he knew in his life. But you could only look at the file cabinet with your name on it. And he went to the file cabinet with his name on it, and he actually saw two file cabinets. The first file cabinet was about everything that he did in his life that was positive or challenging. And it was basically the sum total of his life. And it was a very small file cabinet, didn't have a lot in it. Right next to the file cabinet that he looked into, another one that had his name on it. And the angel said, normally you're not able to look into this file cabinet because it was never opened during your life. It was never opened. And there were so many things that are in this file cabinet that you didn't get to see in your life because of the decisions and the choices that you made in your life. But the angel said, I am going to allow you to look into this file cabinet. And when he looked into this file cabinet, which was at least 20 times longer than the first file cabinet, he saw all of the accomplishments that he could have made, all of the blessings that were waiting to be bestowed upon him, all that were left in the file cabinet because he never sought them out. He never asked for them. He never believed that he could achieve these accomplishments, and therefore they remained in the file cabinet. And he began to cry because the file cabinet included everything that he wanted to accomplish in his life, that he would have been blessed with, and followed through on asking for what he wanted. But he did not ask because he did not believe. And as a result, his life was over and the file cabinet was closed because it was never able to be used or sent down to him because he never asked for it. And you know that we can ask for what we want, and oftentimes it's given to us. Sometimes it's given to us in a different form, and it may not be exactly the way that we want it to have it, but we realize that we can still work with it. It's still viable, and it's something that we can still use. But they could not release the contents of the file cabinet to this man because he did not personally request it. And so, what is it that's holding you back? What is it that you have not requested or you have not taken the first step to accomplish because you're afraid? And that story has resonated with me. I cannot recall where I heard it, but it was years ago. And I said to myself, I want everything that's in my file cabinet. I don't want to have regrets about what I didn't ask for or what I didn't try, because we will absolutely miss 100% of the shots that we never take in life. So I'm going to ask you the question, what is it that you really are seeking? And if it's something that you're seeking, what will you do to be more intentional and purposeful about making that specific goal come to fruition? And I know that for me personally, there are some dreams that I aspire to achieve. And sometimes I do feel as though, what is taking so long? But I continue on because I know that the moment that I stop, the moment that I decide to give in and I decide that I just can't do it, in that next moment, right after I quit, it would have been all laid out for me, nice and pretty, with a bow on it. And so that is what inspires me every single day to keep doing what I'm doing, even though it seems as if it's taking much longer to see my dreams realized. But I also know that timing is everything, and that we cannot see ahead of ourselves because we may be just overwhelmed by what will come to pass. So we have to be patient, and I will continue to be patient. And I'm asking you to not only be patient, but to not give up on yourself and to act. So will you act as a result of listening to this podcast out of inspiration or desperation? And they are basically the same. One is not better than the other. If you are inspired to change, go for it. If you are desperate to change, go for it. You can do it. I believe in you wholeheartedly, and I cannot wait to see what you have accomplished. Please share it with me. I never want to end my podcast without thanking you all so very much for listening. Would you share this particular episode with someone that you know it will resonate with? Would you be willing to go to my website, winoverdepression.org, and click in the right-hand corner with the red tab that says support? Would you help to support me and support this message? It's so very important that we get this message out to the masses, because we are losing our kids to suicide because of bullying, and we have to do better when it comes to taking a mental health assessment of our children. I encourage you to listen to my last episode on how to conduct a mental health assessment of your loved ones. It is a wonderful episode with lots of insight. I also encourage you to go to my Pinterest page, TT Mental Health Expert. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Tamera Trotter. That's Tamera, last name Trotter. You can also find me on Tumblr, Twitter, as well as Facebook. I encourage you to join my Facebook group, also called Win Over Depression. I care about you, my friend. I encourage you to stay in the game of life. If you would like to reach out to me, I can be reached at Tamera at winoverdepression.org. If you would love to be a guest on my show, send me an email and let's connect. I will see you next time on Win Over Depression. See you next Friday. Take care. Remember, giving up is never an option.